Oh, hello! Thank you for joining us for another Wildlife Wednesday. Today we are going to be talking about man's best friend. Well, not quite man's best friend, but the family of animals that gave us man's best friend, i.e. dogs. And we call this family of animals Canidae, otherwise known as canines. Now, this is a broad family of animals. There's over 30 species, and there are two that I know we have here in the Nature Center and living out at Bethel Horizons or on the property here. And some... Oh, wait. You hear that? That's them now. Let's go find them. Oh, there it is. Here we go. It's our first subject of the day, the red fox, otherwise known as Vulpes vulpes. And that's right, you heard me right. The genus name, Vulpes, is the same as the species name, Vulpes. Now, like I mentioned before, foxes are part of the family Canidae, which include a diverse group of animals ranging in size from the gray wolf to the fennec fox, which are real small little canines. And all members of the canine family, much like the mustelid family Trapper Jack has been after, come from an order of animals known as carnivores. Now, canines can be found on every continent except Antarctica, inhabiting forests, tundra, savanna, and deserts throughout tropical and temperate parts of the world. Here we go. Our second subject of the day, the gray fox, Latin name Urocyon cinerio argentinus. That's a mouthful. What's neat about both these animals is that, yes, they are both from the family of canines, they look a lot like each other, and they share a very similar ecological habitat and range. However, they live remarkably different lifestyles, which we will take a look at today. First, though, let's take a look at some of the similarities that red foxes and gray foxes share. Now, one of the distinguishing features that allow you to tell foxes apart from their canine relatives are their tails. Both species of foxes have these big, long, brush-like tails that can be up to a third of the length of their body. And these tails are really important for protecting them in cold weather climates. They will curl up tightly and use the tail to protect the eyes, the nose, the paws, and the legs from those cold winter temperatures. The tail also plays a significant role in fox language and is used to convey messages of dominance, playfulness, aggression, and submissiveness to other foxes in their fox community. Another feature both foxes share is their large, pointy, triangular ears. Foxes have excellent hearing. They can hear low-frequency sounds that allow them to detect rodents digging underground. Foxes also have oval-shaped eyes, which differ from other members of the dog family, which have round eyes. The red fox has vertical pupils that can narrow to a slit, thus reducing the amount of bright sunlight it takes in. They also have a reflective membrane, which causes the light to pass over the retina twice, greatly improving their night vision. All foxes walk on their toes in a manner that's known as digitigrade, which is also the same kind of locomotion used by other canines as well as felines, and it enables them to move more quickly and quietly through their environment. Now, this is one of three types of locomotion that terrestrial mammals use, the second type being called plantigrade, where you walk with your toes and your metatarsals on the ground, and the third type is unguligrade, which is animals that walk with hooves. Neither red nor gray foxes chew their food. Instead, they just swallow small prey whole or rip off in small pieces. Both foxes are known to be opportunistic feeders, meaning they will eat whatever they can get their little mouths on so long as it suits their diet. When it comes to diet, however, this is where the two fox species begin to differentiate. Yes, both species are carnivores, but the red fox is much more of the primary predator, where the bulk of its diet consists of small mammals like meadow voles and cottontail rabbits. The gray fox, on the other hand, is much more the omnivore of the two species, where a large portion of its diet actually consists of plants and berries. They also eat significantly more reptiles, amphibians, and insects than their red counterpart. Now, like I mentioned before, foxes are widespread throughout North America and can be found living in open areas in woodlands, rural and suburban neighborhoods, brushy fields, and forests. The red fox, however, is much more social and will often den in pairs or in small family packs to raise young. Red foxes are also much more likely to reside within or near cities and towns. Because red foxes are also more adapted to urban settings, they will steal food from garbage cans or farms. Their ability to find food, even during the winter, is one reason why red foxes have a reputation for being cunning and smart. Being the quick learners that they are, red foxes have even been known to follow farmers' mowers at haying time. They will snap up mice and voles injured or exposed by the haying process. The gray fox, on the other hand, is much more solitary. They only ever den together while breeding or while raising young. They are also the much more introverted and skittish of the two fox species, which make them much less likely to live or reside near humans. Outside of seeking shelter during inclement weather, gray foxes do not have permanent houses. They will go from den to den or abandoned hole to hole to seek shelter from day to day. Gray foxes can even climb up trees and seek shelter in abandoned tree holes. I wonder if that's where our fox friend went now. Aha! There she is. So majestic. Last but not least, there are some telltale physical traits that you can use to distinguish one fox species between the other. First, the gray fox is slightly smaller than the red fox and weighs in at between 7 to 13 pounds, whereas the red fox can weigh over 15 pounds. Gray foxes have a shorter snout than red foxes. They are also shorter and stockier than the red fox, which has longer and more slender legs. Another telltale sign is the tail itself. On the gray fox, the tail looks as though it has been dipped in a can of black paint. As for the red fox, they have a longer snout along with longer ears and those longer, more slender legs. Would you like another tail? One of the best ways to tell these foxes apart is in fact by the tip of their tail. The red fox has a distinct white tip on its tail that looks as though it has been dipped in a can of white paint. Foxes are capable of leaping 15 feet or more, running 30 miles per hour for several miles, and they have some of the longest whiskers in the canine family. These are just a few other fun facts that make foxes some of the coolest canines at camp. Hey, thanks again for joining us for another Wildlife Wednesday. Tune in next week to see what we'll be learning about then, because boy gee wilker, learning sure is cool. And don't you forget it.